All right, let's get some insight on this from Alexey Muraviev. He's an associate professor of national security and strategic studies at Curtin University. He joins us from Perth, Australia. Alexey, hearing Volodymyr Zelenskyy saying now, okay, NATO won't join, or Ukraine won't join NATO. How about that? And yes, I will negotiate the Donbass. Is that not giving Russia potentially what it wanted all along before it attacked Ukraine?
Look, I mean, to be fair, Volodymyr Zelenskyy began talking about Ukraine's possible future neutral status soon after the war erupted. His rhetoric about considering the future status of the Donbass region is something new, and obviously he's trying to show his goodwill here also by reinforcing the point that he made earlier when he said that he wants Russian forces to be returned to their positions prior to 24th of February, meaning he by default accepts Russia's presence and effectively Russia's control over Crimea, as well as parts of the Donbass region, which were under the control of pro-Russian separatists prior to the invasion. But this is where it gets really interesting and dramatic for Ukraine, because just 24 hours prior to his statement, the head of the so-called Luhansk People's Republic, one of the two separatist regions supported by the Russians, effectively stated that his region is considering running a referendum about the future status of Luhansk, possibly becoming part of the Russian Federation. Clearly, this is something that could have been said publicly without the sanctioning coming from the Kremlin, meaning that Moscow is upping its ante in anticipation of the forthcoming negotiations. Because one thing you talk about so-called independence of the breakaway provinces, but de facto could be described as breakaway provinces from Ukraine, a completely different reality if they would be considered as part of the Russian territory, similar to the way how the Russians look at Crimea. That changes the whole dynamic completely. How Ukraine will take it and how Ukraine will respond to it, we have to wait and see.
Right, you're right that there is a difference there between something being a breakaway republic and something being full-on a part of Russia. But now that this has come to war, for Volodymyr Zelenskyy to say, even if in the negotiations he were to say, okay, we'll allow these to function as breakaway republics, which are, of course, under control of Russia, isn't he essentially, after all of this, just giving up a big chunk of Ukraine's territory?
He is. And another question that needs to be taken into account, even if he would sign this agreement, subject that the Russians would accept it, how will the Ukrainians take it? How the Ukrainian political forces will take it? And certainly how the Ukrainian nationalists will take it? Because there are rumors floating about possible attempts to overthrow Zelenskyy by members of very conservative and nationalistic political movements in Ukraine, because they believe he is not tough enough. He has been making concessions to the Russians in their view before the outcome of the battle for Ukraine has been determined. So there is no guarantee that even if Zelenskyy will go ahead and sign it, and part of that could also be understood through US President Joe Biden's comments, who effectively stated whilst visiting Poland that the future of territorial integrity of Ukraine is in the hands of the Ukrainians. So by that, he is signaling to Zelenskyy that, you make the call, the final call about how you want to negotiate this with the Russians. But again, there is no guarantee that the Ukrainians will accept this, especially after the catastrophic consequences that the first month of this ferocious war has already inflicted upon them. They would probably consider it as part of the betrayal, as part of effectively giving away the adversary war they were fighting and dying for over nothing.
All right, very good points. Great to talk to you, Alexey. Thanks for that.